All right, class. So this week is week 3, and here we're interested in the skills, knowledge, and capabilities of grantees. You're going to have to do a little bit of a different assignment this week, and that assignment is the introduction and organizational description. So I'm going to ask you to put together about 3 pages. The introduction of the organization you're working for that you selected last week, and that describe the organizational structure of that organization. Now, you might want to use some sort of a hierarchical org chart as part of these 3 pages. You may want to just simply list it in narrative form, but whatever you do, you should explain the organization, whether it's a chapter of a larger national organization, whether it exists only in one location, what your role is within it, who you report to, who reports to you, whether or not there's a separate and independent board of directors, whether or not you're going to establish a second and independent board to review the grant project, whatever it is you're going to do, that sort of organization you want to put together this week. And what you want it to be is you want it to be the type of organization and the type of description of an organization that makes the proposal seem solid, right? That makes the program officers or whoever the grant committee is feel good and feel comfortable that this is a good and solid organization to pull off this type of project if we hand them this big $500,000 chunk of money, right? So that's what you want to do. You're going to start getting introduced to OMB circulars here. The OMB is the Office of the Management and Budget. It is part of the Executive Office of the Presidency. It resides in the Eisenhower Executive Office Building across from the West Wing of the White House. And what the OMB does is it acts as the president's leash on the bureaucracy. Put another way, the 15 cabinet departments and other assorted independent agencies in the United States of America cannot spend money or promulgate regulations without approval from the director of the Office of Management and Budget, which gives it a sort of tremendous ability to make sure that the bureaucracy is doing things that the president would like the bureaucracy to do and not just whatever the bureaucrats want to do. This is a Nixon invention. But every president subsequently has kept it. And when they produce these circulars, they apply across the departments of the federal government. And that's what I was saying. If we start learning these rules, they're going to apply in the Department of Energy as well as they do in the EPA, as well as they do in NASA, and so on and so forth. So it's good to learn them because they're broadly applicable across different policy spheres. I'm just going to ask you to dip into these. I don't want you to dig too deep. I think you should pay particular attention to either 87 or A21. A87 is for state, tribal, and local governments, and A21 is for educational institutions. If you are neither of these, you can pay more specific attention to A110. Which is a general compliance circular as opposed to an accounting compliance circular, but they're all applicable. So A110 will apply across the other two as well. But I just want you to leaf through that unless you're just a nonprofit. If you're a nonprofit or a hospital, you should probably spend a little bit more time with it. And like I said, if your organization for this class is state, local, or tribal government, use A87. If it's an educational institution, use A21. And pay specific attention to them. There are more circulars that all apply that I'm possibly going to list here, but these are 3 of the by far most important that you will run into in the grant writing world. So I want to get you a little bit introduced to them. It's hard reading. It's not fun. There are entire jobs just in grant compliance where if you know these circulars well, you can get hired in what's called research administration. You can make a career out of it. Making sure that you keep PIs out of orange. And by orange, I mean prison jumpsuits, right? It's good. I'm going to give you an example of a collaborative organization description and proposal. I want you to realize when I give you these examples, they are from different grants. They won't be always in compliance with the rules of the ProRes RFP we've made up for this class. So maybe I will give you a 6-page example, but if you look at the RFP, it's a maximum of 3 pages. I want you to pay close attention to that and don't just copy my example every time. Realize I'm giving you a sample from one grant, but every grant RFP is going to have a different page limit rule. They're going to have different formatting rules, and I want you to make sure you follow those every time. So at the bottom of the to-do list every week, it will tell you be sure to refer back. In every assignment, it will tell you to be sure to refer back to your ProRes RFP. I mean it. That's going to be how you make sure you don't make any major mistakes. So keep that up, and I will talk to you on week 4.